In the intricate mechanics of attraction, there is a specific frequency that a man emits when he is leaning in too far, a frequency of static, noise, and hidden desperation. But there is a second frequency, one that is far more powerful and far more unsettling to the female psyche, the frequency of the withdrawal. Most men think of withdrawal as an act of anger or a silent treatment used to punish. But the withdrawal we are talking about today is different. It is a calm, resolute removal of your emotional energy. It is the moment you stop being the buffer for her life and start being the observer of your own. When a man withdraws like this, he creates a psychological vacuum so powerful that her internal security begins to crumble. This is when the quiet panic transitions into something much more visceral, the total takeover of her anxiety. In the olden days, a man's withdrawal was often a precursor to his departure. If he stopped engaging at the communal fire, if he stopped sharing his thoughts on the hunt, it meant he was already halfway out the door. This triggered a survival instinct in the woman to re-secure the connection. In recent times, we have been conditioned to avoid this at all costs. We are told to communicate, to reach out, and to be vulnerable. But when you are constantly reaching out to a woman who is being cold or disrespectful, you aren't communicating. You are begging. You are showing her that you are afraid of the silence. When you finally stop, when you withdraw your attention, your questions, and your care, you are forcing her to stand on her own 2 feet. And for many women in the modern world, standing alone without a man's validation to prop them up is a terrifying prospect. Connected to this is the concept of the emotional thermostat. In most relationships, the man acts as the thermostat. He sets the temperature and the woman reacts to it. If you are warm and available, she feels comfortable, sometimes too comfortable. She begins to take the heat for granted. But when you withdraw, you essentially turn off the furnace. The temperature in the relationship drops instantly. In the beginning, she might try to act cool as if she doesn't notice. But as the chill of your silence sets in, her anxiety begins to rise. She starts to feel the drop we've discussed before. Without your constant stream of energy to validate her, she starts to feel invisible. And to the feminine ego, being invisible to the man she once controlled is the ultimate source of anxiety. Imagine the stages of this anxiety as it takes over her mind. It starts with confusion. She wonders why the usual buttons aren't working. She'll send a test text or use a bad mood to see if you'll jump in to save her. And when you don't, when you remain withdrawn and unbothered, the confusion turns into self-doubt. She begins to question her own market value. She thinks, if he can just flip a switch and stop caring about my drama, was I ever really that important to him? This doubt is the stillness working its magic. By refusing to react, you are making her the problem that she has to solve. In recent times, men have been taught to be problem solvers for women, but the high-value man knows that the best problem you can give a woman is the problem of how to win you back. Connected to this is the imagination spiral. When a man withdraws, he leaves a blank canvas. And because the female mind is highly imaginative and tuned into social nuances, she will fill that canvas with her worst fears. She'll imagine you're talking to your ex. She'll imagine you've realized you're too good for her. She'll imagine you're planning your life without her. This spiral of anxiety is what creates the hysterical bonding we see later on. Her anxiety is driving her to fix the connection at any cost. This is why a man who withdraws often finds himself being chased by the very woman who was ghosting him a week prior. It isn't that she suddenly realized she loved him. It's that her anxiety reached a breaking point where she could no longer handle the uncertainty of his absence. In the olden days, this was called having a backbone. It was the ability to say, I don't like how this is going, so I am going to step back and focus on myself. Today, we have to treat it as a strategy because men have become so addicted to female proximity that they are terrified of even a few days of silence. But you must understand, your withdrawal is the only thing that proves your presence has value. If you are always there, your presence is free. If you can withdraw it, your presence becomes expensive. When her anxiety takes over, she is essentially realizing the price of the man she was about to lose. She begins to value your texts, your time, and your attention in a way she never did when they were unlimited. Think about the power shift that happens during the withdrawal. When you were chasing, she was the main character and you were the sidekick. But when you withdraw, you become the mystery and she becomes the observer. The anxiety she feels is actually her ego trying to regain its position. She wants to feel like she has you again so she can stop feeling anxious. This is where most men fail. They see the woman's anxiety. They see her crying or sending long paragraphs or acting crazy, and they feel guilty. They lean in to comfort her, and in doing so, they reward her anxiety. They show her that the way to get him back is to have an emotional breakdown. This is how toxic cycles are born. The high-value man stays withdrawn until the anxiety turns into respectful pursuit. He doesn't reward the panic. He rewards the change in behavior. Connected to this is the biological necessity of the masculine wall. A woman needs to know that a man is stronger than her emotions. If her anxiety can break your withdrawal, then you aren't a wall, you're a curtain. You might look good, but you can't protect her from anything. When you stay withdrawn despite her protestations, you are proving your masculine sovereignty. You are showing her that your peace is more important than her drama. This creates a deep sense of subconscious security for her. Even though she feels anxious in the moment, deep down, she is relieved to find a man who can't be manipulated. She realizes that if you can stand up to her, you can stand up to the world. In recent times, we've been told that withdrawing is a form of ghosting or emotional abuse. But there is a massive difference between ghosting a good woman and withdrawing from a woman who is disrespecting your frame. One is cowardice, the other is consequence. If you have communicated your boundaries and she has ignored them, your only remaining move is the withdrawal. It is the final warning of the masculine soul. It says, "I am a man of high value, and I will not be a part of any dynamic that doesn't honor that." The anxiety she feels is simply the natural consequence of her trying to play games with a man who doesn't play. Imagine the reconnection that happens after a successful withdrawal, when you finally decide to come back into the space. After she has shown genuine effort and respect, the energy is completely different. The anxiety has washed away the complacency. She looks at you with a sense of awe because she knows she almost lost you. She is more soft, more compliant, and more invested than she's been in months. You didn't get this through arguing. You got it through absence. You let the quiet panic do the work for you. You let her own mind be the teacher that taught her the value of your presence. As we wrap this up, remember that the withdrawal is not a game. It is a calibration. It is you resetting the scales of the relationship. If you feel the need taking over, or if you feel her focus drifting, or if you feel your own dignity being compromised, then it is time to step back. Go back to your stillness. Go back to your mission. Go back to the silence. Let her anxiety be the fuel that drives her back to you. In the olden days, men were the mountains and women were the rivers. The river can only have a path if the mountain stays exactly where it is. Don't move for her anxiety. Let her anxiety move her back into her proper place in your world. Focus on the mission, stay in the frame, and remember, the man who is afraid to withdraw is a man who is destined to be taken for granted. Be the man who can walk away, and you'll find that you're the man she never wants to let go of. Please like, share, and subscribe to Unmasked Love for more contents like this.